Alright, in this video we're going to talk about balancing chemical equations. Alright, so when we're balancing chemical equations, we're going to be adding coefficients, so these are the numbers in front of the molecules, so that there are the same number of each element on both sides of the equation. And it's important to note that we are changing the coefficients, these numbers in front of each compound. We are not changing the subscripts, because if we change the subscripts, then we are changing what the compound is. And then finally, if all of our coefficients have a common factor, we need to make sure we simplify. So in this example right here, if we have 4 hydrogen molecules, 2 oxygen molecules that are yielding 4 water molecules, these all have a common factor of 2, so we need to simplify it to 2 hydrogen molecules plus an oxygen molecule yields 2 water molecules. Alright, so let's do some practice here. So we're going to balance this equation. So our first step is we need to count how many of each element are on both sides of the equation. So in this equation right here, we have 1 sodium atom on this side of the equation, and we have 1 on this side. Okay, now let's look at hydrogen. So we have 2 hydrogen on the left side of the equation, on the reactant side, and we have 1, 2, 3 on the product side. Okay, for our oxygen, we have 1 on the reactant side, and we have 1 on the product side. So the first thing we need to balance here is our hydrogen. So let's see, we have 2 on this side, and we have 3 on this side. Well, to get 3 to an even number, we're going to need to multiply this by 2. So we're going to multiply everything, this entire compound, by 2. So now we have 2 sodium atoms. We have 2, 3, 4 hydrogen atoms, and we have 2 oxygen atoms. Okay, now we need to balance this side to make sure we have the same on each side of the equation. Alright, so let's start with our water here. If we multiply our water by 2, then now we will have 4 hydrogen on this side, 2 oxygen on this side. So 4 and 4, 2 and 2. So those match up. Now we just need to fix our sodium. So we'll put a 2 right here. Alright, so it looks like we are balanced. We have everything matching on each side of the equation. Alright, so let's double check. So we have 2 sodium on this side, 2 sodium on this side. Okay, we have 4, because remember this subscript of 2 means there are 2 here, and then we're multiplying the entire thing by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. We have 4 hydrogen. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 hydrogen. And then we have 2 oxygen here and 2 oxygen here. So this equation is balanced. Alright, so let's try another one. So we need to balance our aluminum and oxygen right here. So how many do we have on each side of the equation? Well, right now we have 1 aluminum on this. Right now we have 1 aluminum on this side. We have 2 oxygen on this side. On this side we have 2 aluminum, and we have 3 oxygen. So once again, we have an odd number of oxygen on the product side and an even number on the reactant side. So we need to get this odd number to an even number. So we're going to multiply this by 2. So now that gives us 4 aluminum, 6 oxygen. Okay, to balance this out, we're going to multiply this by 3. So we have 6 oxygen now here. And we're going to multiply this by 4. So now we have 4 aluminum. 4 aluminum here, 4 aluminum here, 6 oxygen here, and 6 oxygen here. Alright, so now iron and oxygen. So if we have 1 iron here, and 2 iron here, and then we have 2 oxygen and 3 oxygen. Alright, so once again, we have an odd number of oxygen on the product side and an even number on the reactant side. So we need to multiply this by 2 right here. So that gives us 4 iron, 6 oxygen. And then if we multiply this right here by 3, then now we have 6 oxygen. This needs to be multiplied by 4. We have 4 iron. So 4 iron here, 4 iron here, 6 oxygen here, and 6 oxygen here. All right, so this will be our last one. So let's start by counting how many of each element we have on the reactant side and how many we have on the product side. So we have 3 carbon, we have 8 hydrogen, and we have 2 oxygen. On the product side, we have 1 carbon, we have 3 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen. So when we're balancing more difficult chemical equations like this, one thing that I always like to do is I balance the non-hydrogen and oxygen atoms first. So we're going to start by balancing our carbon. So we're going to put a 3 coefficient right here. So now we have 3 carbon and 6 oxygen on the product side. Next, we're going to balance our hydrogens, and then we'll do our oxygens. All right, so we need to put a 4 right here. So now we have 8 hydrogen, and we have 6 plus 4 is 10 oxygen. Alrighty, so the last thing we need to balance is our oxygen. So if we put a 5 right here, then now we have 10 oxygen. Alright, so let's double check ourselves. So we have 3 carbon, 8 hydrogen, 8 hydrogen, 10 oxygen, and then we have 6 plus 4 is 10 oxygen.